be whether you do it right or whether you do it wrong. Every day. You're going to be challenged with this. Every day. But when you got it down in your heart, and your heart is purified, and you already pure with God, you ain't got to worry about who's on the right, who's on the left, who's telling me to do this, who's telling me to do that. You ain't got to worry about that.
Amen.
All you got to do is know the difference. So when the enemy comes to try to talk to you, you got to know how to divert it, right, how to stop it. The Bible teaches us to resist the devil, and he'll flee from you. You got to understand that sometimes your words will plant seeds in other people's minds, and you got to be careful. You can meet a person in the morning and say, "How you doing? Sister Peaches, you look real good this morning." She can go 15 minutes or 30 minutes down the street. Somebody say, "Hi, Sister Peaches, how you doing? You look good this morning." Well, that alone got her feeling a little chipper. She looked good this morning. She can get 1 or 2 hours out down the street, and somebody will look at her and say, "Sister Peaches, you got a frown on your face. You all right?" And then right there you'll say, "Oh, yeah, I'm all right." Then the next person say, "Sister Peaches, are you feeling all right?" Yeah, but see, by then, something is happening. You allowing the person that's talking defeat to kind of filter into your spirit. And by then you're going, "Well, yeah." And then by the time the third or fourth person on down the road after they get you and say, "Sister Peaches, oh, you feeling okay?" Sometimes people will say, "I was praying for you." Thank God that you was praying for me. I was praying for you. I don't know what it was, but I was praying for you. Well, thank God you prayed. But you don't allow all of these people to filter into your spirit, and before you know it, then I don't feel good. Something must be wrong. By then, you're going to let somebody change your mind. You know that's what commercials are all about. When they have the Super Bowl games and all these different games, and they throw that commercial in there in the middle with food, you know what they tell the people? Stop everything you're doing and go get your food. They bring in a liquor commercial, that's what they tell them. Stop now, go get your drink. That's all it's doing, is working on your mind. But you got to learn how to gear your mind for purification at all times. And not let the enemy guide you with words. Because sometimes you see things one way, it ain't that way. And as women, we can be messy. And we can mess up a whole dinner meal by sometimes just being ignorant. And allowing the enemy to step in at the last minute. Your husband come in, you done worked out there trying to cook them beans, and you taste them, and they don't taste quite right. And before the man even takes a spoon up, you say, "Baby, they don't even taste right." You done already feel to this man tell you they taste right. That man gonna eat the beans. You pray and believe God ain't gonna taste good when the man eats the beans. But you done already told him that before he took a bite, beans ain't good. So he go down with man, beans ain't good. You understand what I'm trying to say? Women got a whole lot of things. You can even pump them up or you can pull them down. Same thing about your children. You can pump up a child and you can tear them down. You ain't going to be good for nothing. You're going to be just like your ignorant dad. And what he come out then, just like his ignorant dad. Because you done filtered into him. You done gave him his spirit. And he received it that way. I was telling one of my babies yesterday when we went to eat, he wanted spaghetti and he wanted macaroni and cheese. And I told him no. It's because he don't understand it, but I understand there was 2 starches. And I understand what 2 starches will do to a child or in a grown person as well. This morning it was biscuits and gravy, and then eggs, which was okay, then wanted a waffle, and then the other one wanted some toast. And I said, neither one of y'all getting that. You're not getting a waffle with your biscuits and gravy, and you ain't getting toast with your biscuits and gravy. And for grandma, I said, because it's starch. Number one, they make the gravy with starch, and then you got biscuits. That's 2 starches right there already. And then you're going to add a third one to it. You understand what I'm saying? We need to help learn to redirect things. And Esther did that. For those that don't know the story, we're going to try to filter into you some of the story, but we got people to know. I learned something years ago. When we are ministering or talking to people, don't talk to everybody like they know everything. Don't say, you know the story. And that's a habit we have, and we don't mean any harm when we say, you know the story. Because we felt like that since we were children and we learned about Jesus as we came up in Sunday school, we feel like everybody sitting here knows the story the way we do. So we say, you know the story. But you got to learn to tell it for those that don't know the story. I don't care if there's one person sitting in the audience that don't know the story. They're the one that came to sit to hear the story. And because they hear it, it may change their decision of what they do in their life. And sometimes in reading a lot of things, we run over a very thing that we need to stop. When I was reading Esther, I read it many times. I'm preaching about it, and I think I may have preached about it last time I was here. I think I did. I mean, I don't know, but it's a good story. And I read of it, but the thing of it was, in the land, there was a queen named Esther that was married to a king. And as their custom was, when they had a big array of like a party, a big to do, the king was to bring his wife because the queen was supposed to be somebody that was so beautiful, so wonderful to look upon. I don't care if she was an ugly person, if the king picked her, that was his queen. Because his eyes saw something in her. And that's the way it is with husbands and wives. Brother Carlos saw something in you many years ago. And that's why he married you, because he saw it and he liked it. So to you, you are his queen. Brother Fred, that's your husband, is that right? He saw something in you, Sister Peaches. And what he saw in you, it did him good. And that's why he chose you. Sometimes we need to take time to think. I was chose over all the women in the neighborhood, all the women in the world to be this man's wife. Now, in the Bible, in this particular story, it teaches that the women that had to be chosen had to go into purification. Let me back up here just a little bit. Esther was the queen at that time. But because they had this big to do, the queen was ordered to come before them and sit before them. And she chose not to come. That was against their rules. They didn't like that. So some of his people that worked with him went to him and got him up on the shoulder in his ear. Said, she's not coming. She's disrespecting you. And she's disrespecting everybody. Saints, that was put in the Bible for a reason to help us. We must understand every situation is not as drastic as sometimes other people make it be.
That's right.
And sometimes you take the wrong thing and you run with it.
That's right.
And instead of diffusing it, you're adding fuel to it. Mm-hmm. We was out eating yesterday and something happened outside the sidewalk. We didn't see what all happened. Man got knocked in the head or whatever happened. We don't really know. But as we come out the door, one man was telling another woman that she was an instigator. Because whatever was going on, she just kept on. And he was saying she was instigating, which means you got to understand how to diffuse a situation rather than put fear on it and make it blown up. My pastor said one time a man was driving down the street, he had a can in his hand. And people came back to church and said the man was driving down the street drinking beer. Because the beer can was red and white, and the beer come in a red and white can. And they didn't see the whole can, they just saw the color of the can. And came back and said the man was drinking beer. Do you understand what I'm saying? You got to learn how to diffuse situations rather than to blow it up. And it's got to be somebody bold. See, I said we're going to use some of these words, we're going to jump around. It's got to be somebody bold in the crowd to speak again. No, wait. You didn't see it like that. I came into church and I spoke to everybody, and Sister Shaw didn't say anything to me. Sister Shaw's mind may have been on a situation in her house that she's trying to think about at her house and then work this right here. And at that moment, she's not multitasking. Right at that moment, she got on her, I can't talk about what part of the brain, but on one part of her brain, she's thinking about what's going on at home. I got a situation at home, my husband's sick, or my bills need to be paid. And then on the other hand, I'm trying to work with Kiyoko over here, show her how to do this, how to do that, just in case if I'm not around. And because she didn't speak to you, instead of you accepting it, she didn't speak to you and maybe going up to her and saying, how you doing, First Lady Shaw? If you got it that bad, then you're going to make yourself be known. I want you to know I'm speaking to you. If you got it that bad. That's right. But see, sometimes what we got to learn to do is, and then what you do is you go and you say, Sister John, speak to me. Sister John say nothing to me. I came in the door and she didn't say nothing to me. Speak to her right now. She ain't going to say nothing to you. See, she ain't going to say nothing to you. Speak to her right now. And you're going to see. I'm trying to show you how the devil do, y'all.
That's right.
I'm trying to show you how the devil do. You don't care about you being saved. How long you been saved? If the devil deceived the very disciples, he don't care about you. He going to do you the same way, but that's his job. Now what she need to do is a Sister Peaches, give her mind. See what I'm saying? Diffuse that situation. That's what diffuse it before you get any further. And if she thinks she needs to grab her by the hand like a little child, grab her by the hand and walk over there. Good morning, Sister Sean. Diffuse that situation. Don't blow that thing up. Because if you tell her what she does, Sister Holmes. Sister Peaches told me, Sister Joe ain't speaking to nobody. I don't know what's wrong with her. She wasn't even there. She came and told her. And if she ain't got enough boldness to diffuse the situation and keep the secret of who said what, there ain't no secret. If she ain't bold enough to keep the secret of who said what, and she gonna walk over here and tell, girl, look, Sister Shaw, that Sister Jones ain't speaking today. She done added to the story. Now it's getting bigger and bigger. You play the game with the children. I'm passing word to you, passing word to you. And when you get to the end, it's going to be what? I don't know. It's going to be a different story when you get to the end. That's right. That's why you got to learn to be slow to speak. Don't let your feelings be so tender all the time. And you said the wrong thing, but you don't know what you done to somebody. I got confidence in her. She prayed with me last night that my mama be healed, that my mama be delivered. Now I'm doubting her prayer. Well, the devil is a lie. That was the best prayer you could have had. When Jesus came on the scene, he came to help people. But what did they do? They criticized it. They ostracized it. They beat him on the back, turned him in the side, nailed him to the cross. Put thorns on his head. The very person that came to help him.
Right.
They beat up on him. But thank God for Jesus. Hung on the cross for us anyway. He knew what they were doing to him, but he came for a purpose. That's right. And that's what's wrong with a lot of people today. They forget, they lose their focus. They lose the correct focus that you need to have. And the story goes on to say that Vesta didn't come. She didn't come to the meeting. So as the king speaking, I got him on the shoulder and told him, well, you need to get rid of her because she didn't come to the meeting. Now, the Bible gave us this story, and God could have redirected it another way. He could have allowed her to come on out, or he could have softened the king's heart. But God gave us this story for a reason, to help us this day. And that was another reason, because sometimes people do need to be moved out of the way in order for God's blessings to come forth. Sometimes people got to be moved for blessings to come forward. I don't care if it's out of your life. If you got a best friend and they're already downing people and talking about the people that you feel is in your head, you can back up from that. I'm telling you something. You need to learn how to part company with people. So true. I ain't got to be friends with you if you're going to talk about my leader all the time. I ain't got to be friends with you if you're going to talk about the person that I feel is a friend of me. I know what this woman has done for me. I know what Shirley Owens has done for me. When both of us was going through with a lot of situations in our life, we was helping each other. So can't nobody come to me and tell me, Sister Owens said such and such about you last night. Maybe she did. But if she did, I didn't hear her. And if I had heard it, probably would have been in the attitude that you tried to tell me.
That's right.
Because sometimes you brought the wrong attitude.
Right.
She could have said the Lord was fat. She wasn't lying, I am fat. But it's the attitude you brought it in. Like, Lord is just big and fat. And I could have took it the wrong way. She just eats stuff all the time. And I could have took it the wrong way. And then not be friends with her because of what somebody else said.
Right.
Because the seed was planted in somebody's heart. You got to watch that. Sometimes it's good to hold secrets. Let's get back to this. So they told the king, let's make a decree.